Good morning. Today is the 13th of December. Wow. Okay, so this is the end of my syringe. It's not showing there's hardly anything left. So I'm not sure if there's anything in here, but I'm going to take whatever there is, and then I've got to order some more. This is ivermectin. It's a horse wormer. Those of you who have been following me know what it is. If you have not been, it's this stuff here. See the horse? And they're trying to say that it's flavored like apple, but there's very little apple flavor there. Maybe it's because the horse gets the whole syringe. I'm only taking 1/10 at a time. Um, it's a wormer. It's getting rid of parasites, okay? And I'm not sure. I'd have to read on that. If you take the dose every 6 months or a year, but you take the whole thing at one time, okay? That's the horse. That's for a 1,250-pound horse, if I didn't say that already. So one of my people said, okay, just divide it. Just say you're 120 pounds and divide it, and that would be 10 doses. So that's what I did. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I'm going to go ahead and take what's left in here, but I just got a feeling there's not very much. Not that a dose is very much, not compared to a horse. But anyway, so we'll see what it does. Okay, so that's probably about half of what I've been taking for a dose. But I'm going to take it anyway. Can you see it? Mm. Ow. Okay, well, I'm not really seeing where it's saying how often, but there's a whole lot of print, okay? So there's like a ton of print for me to read, and so I'm not doing that. Mostly, I know ivermectin kills important internal parasites, including bots and arterial stages of something vulgaris with a single dose. Ivermectin is a potent anti-parasitic agent that is neither benzim. Those are two big words I can't say. Animal safety. Ivermectin may be used in horses of all ages, including mares at any stage of pregnancy. Stallions may be treated without adversely affecting their fertility. Storage, store at 68 degrees to 77 degrees. Excursions, whatever that is. We're not going to go there. Okay, well, I'm not really seeing where it says how often. Do not underdose. Ensure each animal receives a complete dose based on current body weight. Parasite control program. All horses should be included in a regular parasite control program, with particular attention being paid to mares, foals, and yearlings. Foals should be treated initially at 6 to 8 weeks of age, and routine treatment repeated as appropriate. Consult your veterinarian. Ivermectin kills important internal parasites. I read that part to you already. Animal safety. Well, I'm not really seeing how often, but stands to reason. Either every 6 months or a year, once a year. But that's me saying that. Stomach worms. They're listing a bunch of different worms. Yes, come on, get up here. He says, I want some wet food too. He was in here jabbering with me quite a bit, so I figured I'd better go check and see what it was he wanted. And it was food. So I filled up his food dish. Other warnings, okay, environmental safety, information for horse owners. Warning, do not use in horses intended for human consumption. People. Avoid contact with eyes. Other warnings, parasite resistance may develop to any dewormer and has been reported for most classes of dewormers. Treatment with a dewormer used in conjunction with parasite management practices appropriate. I really can't tell. Okay. It's trying to say that probably your body will build up an immunity to it. Like I've done. Swelling and itching reactions after treatment with ivermectin have occurred in horses carrying heavy infections of neck threadworm. Wow. Okay, so I'm getting carried away. All I know is ivermectin was given to some dogs for worms, I'm sure, and they happened to have cancer, and the cancer went away. So you know what? I started taking it, and it was deemed safe for human consumption back in 1996 by the FDA. So this tube is now empty, which means I've taken 2 tubes in the last 3 or 4 months. I'm not really sure how long it's been now. I do need to go back and find. My brother got me some information where I could buy some ivermectin. It would be in pills. They had 100 pills for $100. Maybe it'd be easier to take. Maybe take it every day. I don't know. All I know is I have been willy-nilly taking ivermectin. And my PET scan, which was almost 2 months ago now, I guess. Geez, time flies. I'm thinking anyway. Anyway, it came back with no cancer activity. Now, what does that mean? To me, that means it's dead. Maybe that's wishful thinking. But I'm going to order me some. You can get it from Amazon. You can get it at a feed store that takes care of cows and horses, because it is for horses. And there's an aisle in their store that has things to help with illnesses and different things of horses. I know cows have to have shots. I bet you horses do too. Just like people, right? We've all got to have shots. Who said? Experience tells you that it works, though. Like when you have sick cows and you give them shots and stuff, they get better. Brother, what an experience that was. We go out and buy cows, buy baby cows, and have them grow up. And then you find out you got to do this and that and the other thing. You need to be prepared for those things. It takes equipment. You know, we didn't have equipment for our cows, like a chute. We made one. We figured out how to make one because I had some gates. I had some metal gate panels. So we used that. We had a building that had it was the dog run. When we moved there, he had built a dog kennel because he had bird dogs, I guess, or something. And we had German Shepherds. I can't even remember. That doesn't seem like we were able to use that very much. Nevertheless, the point is it had like a 5-foot walkway in the front. You know, the roof went over 5 feet, and then there was a wall. It wasn't really a wall, it was a fenced-in area. But basically what it was, yes, baby, it'd be like you go out of the dog run where the door is, and then there's another 5-foot piece that's got a roof over it, and then there's kind of like a fenced area. So anyway, the point was, cows went down there, and we had a metal gate, and we made our own chute. I wouldn't advise it. But if you don't have money, you do what you can do, right? And when you're not smart enough to figure it out before you do it, in other words, you can't just go down and get what you need if you don't have the money, right? Hard enough to get the shots to give the cows, and then you got to figure out how to give it to them. And then there's some things that they do where they have tranquilizer guns, or they have a gun that you can shoot the medicine into them from afar. You don't have to get up close. Craziness, people. Research what you're doing before you do it. What we did was we did it, and we learned by doing. That's not the way to go. I'm telling you, it's not the way to go. Plus, I spent a bloody fortune on that farm. Craziness all around. Meaning on the animals that were on the farm, okay? And I forgot, the other day I was telling you guys, it was quite a while back, I was telling you guys about different animals that were on the farm that we fed grain to. Well, I forgot the goats. We had a bunch of goats too. So cows and goats and chickens. And for a short period of time, we had a horse. I could tell stories, so many stories. But no, you don't want to do that. You want to be spending the money on yourself. You know, I wanted my husband to have a steak, but I didn't want to buy it at the store. Well, how cheap was it at the store compared to spending it on a cow? You know, we went and bought us cows from the auction that were little babies. And sometimes they would die. So sad. But most of the time they did okay. But you know, sometimes you're buying a baby calf that's just barely born and had its mama because they sold its mama. Such a sad situation. But any old hill, I just wanted to get on here and say, hey, show you my ivermectin I was taking, and I made me a smoothie. I'm not sure if it was yesterday or the day before. This is all I ate. I've got it out thawing so I can eat the rest. Need to figure out a way to just do a little bit and just drink it down. Just drink it down because you want that stuff in your body. And Dr. Barbara O'Neill, I'll say her name, she's got a lot of knowledge in that brain, and she's sharing it with us on YouTube, okay? Like this morning I was listening to, I only listened a little while. It's just kind of like with me reading the scriptures or reading Mormon doctrine, and I got references for you to go look up. I feel like I need a notebook, pen and paper to take notes from her, or just keep listening over and over and over again. But she says that diabetes can be reversed. You can fight diabetes without just taking pills and insulin and all that crap. You know, because they start you on this regimen and you end up on that regimen the rest of your life until you can't afford it and you die. That's what I understand. I mean, medications go up and up and up. Excuse me. I know I snort a lot. I can't really help it. I don't know why I do it. I don't know if it's a habit. Sometimes my nose is wet and I can't stand it, so I'd be snorting it. So I'm sorry. But anyway, you guys should look up Barbara O'Neill. Because, like she said, 1 in 10 people have diabetes, and I bet it's more than that now. And before we're done, it's going to be everybody. But what it is, I was listening to her discourse, and she's got a big old whiteboard up there that she writes on. But she was discussing how we eat. So she's saying it's a lifestyle change is what you need to do. Okay, and then carbohydrates. There's good carbohydrates and bad carbohydrates, and there's carbohydrates in about everything. Okay? She was talking about how we've been trained. And then she was talking about different locations in the world as to how they eat, what they eat. Like the Irish eats a lot of potatoes. I don't remember all the different places and what they did, but the point is, in the morning, what do you do for breakfast, she says. First thing on the board, cereal. And then she said about 10 o'clock you get all hungry again, so what do you go for? Oh, back to the breakfast, also toast, which is carbohydrates, bread. And then you go, she said about 10 o'clock or so, you need something to eat. So what do? You reach for pastries and cakes and different things, like donuts, like sweet rolls, stuff. I remember my mother loving her pastries. They'd go down to the store and get a little container full of, like cinnamon rolls, covered with icing. They're good. But anyway, that was just a little memory. So I'm trying to remember the other things. But see, all different kinds of things are bad for carbohydrates. I mean, giving you carbohydrates. The potatoes is one. I believe rice is one. And the bread is one. And then she talked about sugar. Sugar is the acid derived from sugar beets or whatever it's the sugar cane. He didn't say beets. He said sugar. She said sugar cane. You know, the refining process, sugar is an acid. So what are all these lovely things you're putting in your body every day? You might want to stop that. Or at least slow down. And like the lady said that gave the classes that I went to for diabetes, portion size. Portion size will help a lot. And then the other thing is, you want a balanced meal. You want, like they had a plate they showed, and it had a half of a baked potato on it. But I said, why do you have a potato on that plate? Since we're not supposed to have it. So that goes back to portion size, but also eating a balanced meal. So when you have that half a potato with butter and sour cream, I mean, those two things are good because they're a good fat, even though they're dairy. So anyway, on this plate, get back to the plate. We got a half a potato and we got meat, and then we got a whole half of the plate in green vegetables. But I did look up the meaning to a diabetic, and it did say someone who does not eat a balanced meal or a balanced diet. I'm not sure which, okay? But the thing is, we just need to look at these different things. And then, like right now, I just remembered, okay, I've got a pot of coffee downstairs. So I went down and made a pot of coffee. And I'm going to get in the shower. But I was listening to another one of Barbara O'Neill's things, and I can't remember, but they were talking about the pancreas. And I'm going to have it all mixed up.
Mary Lou, here is your reminder from Nancy. Take your medicine. Mary Lou, here is your reminder from Nancy. Take your medicine.
Okay, I'll go do that. I told Nancy I needed a mama, but the mama was for telling me to take my pills because I always forget. So that was her solution. She has Alexa tell me. And that's good. As long as I get up and go do it because I forget still. But anyway, coconut oil and lemon juice. The juice of the lemon. Those two things together are good for something. I just don't remember what. Okay? And she was talking about healing the pancreas, healing the liver. So we need to be careful what it is we're taking into our bodies, okay? And all you people who do not have to worry about it yet, start now. Start now trying to eat better. Less sugar. Less refined things. Like cereal is a refined product, isn't it? I don't know if that's the right word that I'm looking for. Processed. It's a processed food. Because they're telling you to stay away from processed foods, okay? So you go get it on the shelf, you pour it in a bowl, pour some milk on it, and eat it. I think that qualifies. Cereal. Because it's not actually a real food, is it? It's something that we made up. We took something, and I don't know if it was refined already, the flour or whatever makes it up. Then we put it through a process, and then you put it through a machine. How are those Fruit Loops made? She mentioned Fruit Loops. You know, to make them nice and like little teeny donuts. But there's something that's making them like that, you know. But anyway, the point is it's processed. So that should give you a clue. There's just all kinds of things out there we have to read about when we're getting them because we don't know. And I need to get off here. I just looked at the time. It was 23:33. So if I could have got it to stop at that, that would have been cool. But I looked at it. There was 3 3s. Trip. Okay, now that's a big spoon. Here's a little spoon, but I don't have anything to drink, so I can't do that. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I brought a little teaspoon up here. You can see the little white stuff on it. Okay. I'm going to start taking my baking soda. And I'm just guesstimating because I don't have the right... I need to buy some measuring spoons. I need a 1/4 teaspoon measuring spoon. And get me a baking soda and put it in my mouth. And you can have... She said she wanted me to take a half a teaspoon in the morning, half a teaspoon at night. But she didn't know if I'd be able to tolerate it. And I think part of that was diarrhea. I'm not sure. I have so many things to do. I want to make myself a little, it's like a chore list, and check it off as I do it. And it would be exercise. Anyway, I do need to exercise. And I do need, Nancy's got MCT oil, which is coconut oil. And I've heard you can put that in your coffee. You just have to be careful how much you take because it is a fat. But if you take a little amount, it will help you fight fat. So I think part of what they were talking about was fatty liver. And a lot of us, they just yanked out our gallbladder saying it didn't have a need to be there. Just take it out because it was causing trouble. Well, I got a feeling we needed that. We needed that gallbladder. That gallbladder holds the bile and disperses the bile, which is what digests your food. But anyway, mine's already gone. But you guys, if you still have your gallbladder, you might make a little habit of maybe every 6 months even. I don't know. That's just me saying that. You might want to use some olive oil if you're not using olive oil every day. I mean, if you take a certain amount of olive oil, it will help flush things out, like the gallstones, before they get to be big. Get rid of them. And you know that castor oil that they were putting in, that you put it all over like a rag, we'll say a wash rag or whatever, fold it into fourths and put it on there, and then put cellophane on the back of it and put it on you so that the medicine is going in you. Leave it overnight. But if you knew where the gallbladder was, you could put it over that. And they say that this castor oil seeps deep into your tissues, and it breaks up lumps and bumps, cysts, tumors. Just a thought. So anyway, my suggestion to all you people is to listen to Barbara O'Neill. Even if you don't have the problems, you know somebody who does, but you're also headed for those problems if you don't already have them. If we don't change our eating habits. So what she was saying was cereal in the morning, 10 o'clock you're having pastries, which is bread and sugar. And then at noon you're eating, I don't know what you're eating, but nevertheless, she mentioned all these different countries, what they brought, what they brought to the table. Pardon the pun. I love potatoes. I love pasta. So pasta and potatoes and rice are all bad. But I didn't listen to everything. I need to do more. I'm just telling you guys to go listen to her. She's got so much good information. Coconut oil and lemon juice. So I got to start doing that. I need to get up and have a glass of water. And you don't need it to be cold. It really should be like lukewarm, like you. But you have some lemon water. So squeeze some lemon in this water. And then you don't guzzle it down. You sip it. You sip it, sip it, sip it. So that you actually get to keep it. So it hydrates you. Yeah, dehydration is another big bad thing. And how many of us don't drink water? I mean, for my whole life, when I was young, I hated water. I didn't drink water. Turns out water is what we need. So, you people with your children out there, don't just let them keep consuming all that sugar. And realize that a 12-ounce can of pop has right around 40 carbohydrates. It depends on what's in there, okay? Some of them have more. Mountain Dew is one of the worst. But Pepsi and Coke and all those are right behind it. I don't know what's so different about Mountain Dew, unless they just put more sugar in it. So I love Mountain Dew. So, I guess I should get off here. I will, because it's going to be 30 minutes here in a minute. Then I will go attend to things. What would be on my chore list was Zumba with Natasha. Do some. And if you can't do very much, do some and come back and do some more and come back and do some more. Just like you're building up stamina, okay? And then what? I should take a shower. Showering every day is not in my thought patterns. I'm not saying my words right again, but when you live out on the farm and you don't have running water and stuff, it's a big deal to take a shower. I don't live out there anymore, but I could end up out there. You guys appreciate your showers. They're wonderful things. So anyway, at least every other day I should take a shower. Wash my hair. Drink coffee without creamer. So what I'm going to do is I made a pot of coffee, and I'm going to go down there and put a teaspoon of coconut oil, that MCT oil. The MCT oil, I am sure, is fractionated coconut oil because it doesn't go solid. It stays liquid. But we'll see. I'll look on the bottle and see if it says that. But I know from dealing with my stuff, making my medicine, my first, well, I can't say that's my first. One of my first processes is to mix. You know, okay, wow. First we grew the pot. Then we harvested the pot. Then we cured the pot. And if you don't wait long enough for it to cure, then you definitely need to put it in the oven. Don't just put it in the oven. Okay, what I did was I took mason jars. I had half-gallon size mason jars. So you break it up so it's not just all big. In other words, nuggets, you break it into nuggets. You want the heat to get to the inside. Okay, and then you put it in the oven, 250 degrees for half an hour. That decarboxylates it, which turns it from I don't know how to say those words, but nevertheless, it activates the psycho part. It makes it into THC, okay? And if you don't do that, you might not get your THC, and I wanted THC in my medicine, okay? So that's a whole lot of processes before my first process. Then we made Rick Simpson oil, and then I took fractionated coconut oil and Rick Simpson oil and sunflower lecithin, put that all together, stirred it and stirred it and stirred it for a certain length of time at a certain temperature, and then I had what I called liquid gold. Okay, so that was the big first process with fractionated coconut oil that I was talking about. And it changes the makeup, the molecules and stuff, it makes them smaller. The original Rick Simpson oil wouldn't go through I don't know if that's into my liver because I had no gallbladder. It was too big to go through there. Plus the other thing is, I didn't have a gallbladder, so I don't have a lot of acids for digesting my food. And so I would not suggest taking capsules of it. And besides that, that was a big waste. What a waste. Takes a whole lot of that stuff to fill up a capsule. And then I didn't have the acids to digest it, so it just sat in my stomach and didn't go nowhere. I mean, like the Rick Simpson oil, I think when it hit this vegetable capsule, it became solid. And I didn't digest it. And I had proof because I threw it up. Not right away either. I threw it up later. Because there were several in there. So I know that I can't do it that way. I can just eat it. You can just rub it on your tongue. Nasty. Anyway, people, I'm going to go ahead and get off here in just a second. So I'm going to say goodbye.